God. Hare Krishna. Yes, Chaitanya Prabhu, please take it from here. Try to share the screen.
We don't see the screen properly, Prabhuji. Okay, now we can.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, are we going to do the Mangalacharan first or just directly do Kirtan?
Prabhuji, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay, we can do Mangalacharan from Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakhaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Mayam Rupaya Kadamayyam Tadati Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Rupam Sakrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Avatam Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Isha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Sindhudya eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna. Very bold. We can start from reading the translation. Okay, I can start with the first paragraph. 1. Lord Krishna is the beloved son of Mother Yashoda, the transcendental lover in the land of Vraja, the delight of Gokula, Kana, a nickname of Krishna, the wealth of the lives of the gopis. He steals the mind of even Cupid and punishes the Kaliya serpent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I can read the second. These pure holy names of Lord Hari are full of sweet nectarian pastimes. Krishna is the Lord of the 12 forests of Raja. He is ever youthful, and I can't see the other. Okay. And his flute. He's ever youthful and is the best of lovers. He is always playing on a flute, and he is an excellent dresser.
Hare Krishna, I can read the third. Krishna is the protector of the inhabitants of Raja, the destroyer of various demoniac dynasties, the keeper and tender of Nand Maharaj's cows, the giver of pleasure to the cows, land, and the spiritual senses, the husband of the goddess of fortunes, the buttered thief, and the beautiful cowherd boy of Nand Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, yes, please go on.
Hare Krishna. Krishna wanders along the bank of river Yamuna. He stole the garments of young damsels of Raja who were bathing there. He delights in the mellow of the rasa dance. He is very merciful, the lover and beloved of Srimati Radharani, the great dancer of Vrindavan, and the shelter and only refuge of Thakur Bhakti Vinoda. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, we'll start.
Yes, Prabhu.
यशोमति नंदन ब्रज बरो नागर गोकुल रंजन काना सुमति
गोकुल रंजन
यशोमति नंदन ब्रज बर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना
यशोमती नंदन व्रज नागर गोकुल रंजन काना
गोपी परन धन मदन मनोहर कालिया दमन विधाना
गोपी पराधन मदन मनोहर कालिया दमन विधाना
गोपी परन धन मदन मनोहर कालिया दमन विधाना
गोपरन धन मदन मनोहर कालिया दमन विधाना
कमल हरि नाम मिया विलासा कमल
हरि नाम विलासा
कमल हरि नाम अमिया विलासा
अमन हरि नाम विलासा
विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर बोर
विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर गोरा
न पुराण दोरा नवीन नगर बोरा बंसी बदन सुवासा
विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर बोर बंसी बदन
विपिन पुरंदोरा नवीन नगर बोरा बंसी बदन सुवासा
ब्रज जन पालन सुर कुल नाशन नंद गोधन रखवाला
ब्रज जन
पालन
नाश
नंद
नंद
गोधन
ब्रज जन पालन सुर कुल नाशन नंद गोधन रखवाला
ब्रज जन पालन असुर नाशन नंद गोधन रखवाला
गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्कर
गोविंद माधव
नवनीत
तस्कर
गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्कर
गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्कर
सुंदर नंद गोपाला
सुंदर नंद गोपाला
सुंदर नंद गोपाला
सुंदर नंद गोपाला
यमुना तट चर गोपी वसन हर रास रसिका कृपा मोया
यमुना तट चर गोपी वसन हर रास रसिका कृपा मोया
यमुना तट चर गोपी वसन हर रस रसिका कृपा मोया
यमुना तट चर गोपी वसन हर रास रसिका कृपा मोया
श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नट बर भक्ति विनोदाशाया
श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवर भक्ति विनोद
श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नट बर भक्ति विनोदाशाया
श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवर भक्ति विनोदाशाय
यशोमती नंदन भज बर नागर गोकुल रंजन कान्हा
यशोमती नंदन भज नागर
गोकुल रंजन
गोकुल
गोपी परन धन मदन मनोहर कालिया दमन विधाना
गोपी परन धन मदन मनोहर कालिया दमन विधाना
आमल हरि नाम मिया विलासा
अमल हरि नाम मिया विलासा
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद
कृष्ण गौरा हरि बोल कृष्ण गौरा हरि बोल
नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
Jai Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the ecstatic Kirtan.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Chaitanya Prabhu. That was so nice.
So we'll resume Bhagavatam reading then. Um, hey Krishna, can devotees remind me where are we right now?
Prabhuji, we are on text 37.
1.3.37?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu, we can see the screen, but the shloka is not.
The shloka is not there?
It's the home page, Prabhu.
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Let me stop and try again. Is it visible now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay. So we are starting from the Sanskrita. We have to read the Sanskrit also.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Would anybody want to start? Volunteer? But I can read the Sanskrit, okay? Nachasya kichin kaschin nipunena dhatur
Na chasha kaschin punena dhatur
avaiti jantu kumanisha uti hai
avaiti jantu
Ravijantuh
kumanisha
Kumanish Uttihi
namani rupani manovachobhi
namani
Namani
rupani
Rupani
manovachobhi
Manovachobhi
संतन्वतो नटचर्यम् इवाग्यनाः
santanvato
Santan Vato
natacharyam
Natacharyam
ivajnaha.
Ivajnaha.
Hare Krishna. So, reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, first canto, third chapter, 37 shloka. Translation. The foolish with a poor fund of knowledge cannot know the transcendental nature of the forms, names, and activities of the Lord who is playing like an actor in a drama, nor can they express such things neither in their speculation nor in the words. Hare Krishna. Would anyone want to read the purport?
Can I read?
Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Hare. Please read.
No one can properly describe the transcendental nature of the absolute truth. Therefore, it is said that he is beyond the expression of mind and speech. And yet, there are some men with a poor fund of knowledge who desire to understand the absolute truth by imperfect mental speculation and faulty description of his activities. To the layman, his activities, appearance and disappearance, his names, his forms, his paraphernalia, his personalities, and all things in relation with him are mysterious. There are two classes of materialists, namely the fruitive workers and the empirical philosophers. The fruitive workers have practically no information of the absolute truth, and the mental speculators, after being frustrated in fruitive activities, turn their faces towards the absolute truth and try to know him by mental speculation. And for all these men, the absolute truth is a mystery, as the jugglery of the magician is a mystery to children. Being deceived by the jugglery of the Supreme Being, the non-devotees, who may be very dexterous in fruitive work and mental speculation, are always in ignorance. With such limited knowledge, they are unable to penetrate into the mysterious region of transcendence. The mental speculators are a little more progressive than the gross materialists or the fruitive workers, but because they are also within the grip of illusion, they take it for granted that anything which has a form, a name, and activities is but a product of material energy. For them, the Supreme Spirit is formless, nameless, and inactive. And because such mental speculators equalize the transcendental name and form of the Lord with mundane names and form, they are in fact in ignorance. With such a poor fund of knowledge, there is no access to the real nature of the Supreme Being. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is always in transcendental position, even when he is within the material world. But ignorant men consider the Lord one of the great personalities of the world, and thus they are misled by the illusory energy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Would the devotees like to share their realizations or understanding from this? Mom, would you like to summarize what you understood from this or for us?
What I have understood is this, that unless and until a person is a devotee or really a bhakt of the Supreme Lord, he cannot imagine the form, the nature of his activities, the leelas, and he would think that these leelas are being performed by a person who is affected by the material nature of the world. Because there are two types of people, the mental speculators and the fruitive workers. The fruitive workers, for them, it is very difficult to understand the pastimes. The mental speculators or the philosophers, they think that the Lord doesn't have a form. They are impersonalists. They believe in the only in the effulgence of the Lord, where they are able to reach maximum. But those who are the devotees, they approach the Lord with full devotion. They are able to understand the pastimes of the Lord with their bhakti.
Yes, thank you for summarizing. Any other devotees have any thoughts or questions or comments? Okay, so so this is saying in Bhagavad Gita it is said that Lord is always in transcendental position even when he is within the material world. Does anybody remember where this is in Bhagavad Gita?
There is one stroke, I don't remember exactly from where, but from Bhagavad Gita, of course, but which shlok? That जो मुझे जिस भी फॉर्म में अप्रोच करता है, जो मुझे जिस तरीके से इमेजिन करता है, मैं उसको वैसा ही
Yes.
दिखता हूँ या वैसा ही वो मुझे समझ
Tamam
पाता है.
prapadyante. That is one that says that what you are saying, that whoever, that God gives whatever. If you want to approach the God as Krishna as impersonalist, then he will give you faith in that. For an atheist, he even gives Leela, which makes them feel that he's just a human form. Or but where in Bhagavad Gita does Krishna say that? He's saying, so here it's saying that to the layman, his activities, appearance, disappearance, names, forms, paraphernalia, everything is mysterious. And where is Krishna saying and that it is transcendental? Now there are few shlokas I think in Bhagavad Gita where this is mentioned, where Krishna is saying directly that he is transcendental. One shloka, I'm forgetting the actual Sanskrit in it, but basically the translation one is that he says that I am within this world, but everything rests upon me, but I am not controlled by the modes of material nature. Right? So one is 9.4 where Krishna says Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina mat sthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshva avashtitaha, where the translation is, by me and my unmanifested form this entire universe is pervaded, all beings are in me but I am not in them. And then there is that what comes to my mind is also Janma Karmacha Me Divyam, that the appearance and disappearance of Krishna is very mysterious and transcendental. So those are some shlokas that come to my mind reading through this. Any other ones? Any devotees would like to share?
Prabhuji, I think 4.6, it also mentions that he comes every millennium in his own original transcendental form.
Okay. Any other thoughts in this? So who is Prabhupada mentioning in the purport over here when he says that people think about him in the form of that he's without form and doesn't have any it says that mental speculators. So Prabhupada is talking about two types of materialists. One is that just fruitive workers, and other is the empiric philosophers. The fruitive workers, they have no information, like atheists, right? And then mental speculators, they are the ones who are just trying to understand Krishna by mental speculation, just thinking. And they first try in various ways, then they get frustrated, and eventually they turn towards God, but still they are unable to understand God, because they are trying to understand Krishna based upon the material understanding. But Krishna is spiritual, his body is spiritual, his pastimes, everything is spiritual, so he cannot be understood by just the material mental speculation only. So for them, Supreme Spirit is formless, nameless, inactive. So that's Mayavad philosophy, that thinking of Krishna to be just um, not have any form, not no name, and just inactive, and thus they are in ignorance. Hare Krishna. Atul Prabhu, you're also here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat. Yes, Prabhuji.
Ram
So,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I missed last point what you were saying.
I was just saying, Prabhuji, that
Or
Prabhupada in
last,
the purport is talking about the two type of materialists. One's like the atheists, and the other one is basically Mayavadis, when they are
correct.
trying to understand Krishna just by mental speculation and using the knowledge from the material world. But as Krishna is transcendental to the material world and the material senses, he cannot be understood just by mental speculation.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Any other comments, Prabhuji? Or we'll read on then.
Sounds pretty good, Prabhu. So, nothing from my side.
Hare Krishna. We'll just read on then, unless any other devotees have any questions or comments. Okay. Anybody would like to read this?
Hare Krishna, I can read.
Sure, Prabhuji, please go on.
Sarve dadhatu padavim parasya
Save
Sarve
dhatu
dhatu
padavim
padvim
parasya
duranta viryasya rathangapane
duranta
parasya
vidyasya rathangapani
yo mayaya santatatta yanuvritya
Yoma.
Maya santataya nuvritya
bhaje tatatpada sarojagandham.
Bhaje Tatpad Sarojagandham.
Translation: only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. Hare Krishna. Do you want me to read the purport too?
Sure, Prabhuji, please go on.
Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Only the pure devotees can know the transcendental name, form, and activities of Lord Krishna due to their being completely freed from the reactions of fruitive work and mental speculation. The pure devotees have nothing to derive as personal profit from their unalloyed service to the Lord. They render incessant service to the Lord spontaneously without any reservation. Everyone within the creation of the Lord is rendering service to the Lord indirectly or directly. No one is an exception to this law of the Lord. Those who are rendering service indirectly, being forced by the illusory agent of the Lord, are rendering service unto him unfavorably. But those who are rendering service unto him directly, under the direction of his beloved agent, are rendering service unto him favorably. Such favorable servitors are devotees of the Lord, and by the grace of the Lord, they can enter into the mysterious region of transcendence by the mercy of the Lord. But the mental speculators remain in darkness all the time. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself guides the pure devotees toward the path of realization due to their constant engagement in the loving service of the Lord in spontaneous affection. That is the secret of entering into the kingdom of God. Fruitive activities and speculation are no qualifications for entering. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please share your understanding also, Prabhuji, for us.
Hare Krishna. I think in this shloka is sort of a continuum from the last shloka, where the speaker was describing that who cannot understand the Lord, and we discussed in the last shloka that people who are too much involved in material dealings or just by approaching mental speculation, that we understood from the last shloka cannot understand the Lord. Now, in this shloka, it is said that only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. So, the person who can understand God is a pure devotee who has nothing to derive as personal profit. So usually we see that the people who are completely materialists, they're always engaged in some sort of fruitive work and sense gratification. So they are always wanting to derive some result. Even the mental speculators, they are looking for some pleasure in gyan, and they're also not doing everything completely to realize God. But here it is said, the pure devotee who, without any reservation and does spontaneous service, bhakti. Actually, in Bhagavatam only, there's a shlok that comes which says, ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhiti. So a person or a devotee whose bhakti or service to the Lord is ahetuki, without any external cause, and apratihata is without any spontaneous without any interruptions, and that person can achieve bhakti. And then it is explained again that because in the last shloka it was said that understanding Lord is a big mystery, and it's not possible for the other two category of people to understand the Lord. But how can the devotee then understand the Lord? Prabhupada says, in this line, such favorable servitors are devotees of the Lord, and by the grace of the Lord, they can enter into the mysterious region of transcendence by the mercy of the Lord. So a pure devotee doesn't understand the Lord just by himself, but only when he receives the mercy of the Lord is when he can understand. So I remember in this context, once it was said, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj had said this, that never try to see God, but do something that God becomes, God takes mercy on you, and he gives his mercy, and then you will be able to see and understand God. Actually, this example had come when there was a devotee who had come to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj and had questioned and challenged him that I want to see God. Like you're such a big preacher, and you say you're close to God and you know so much about God, so I want to see God. So Maharaj said, okay, I will tell you, but first you have to do something. He said, okay. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj then directed him that go to the kitchen. There are many pots over there, and you first clean all those pots. And then he kept doing this service. The whole day he was doing, and by the end, he started interacting with devotees, speaking to them by their association. Slowly he began to understand, and then at the end of the day he came and he bowed down and paid his respects to Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, and he realized that it is only by service that he's now able to understand little bit about God. One other point I want to mention, I think above it was said in the purport that everyone within the creation of the Lord is rendering service to the Lord indirectly or directly. So usually most people are afraid of this word service or becoming servants. For a while even I used to think that like that, but then one thing we realized that I heard in a lecture from Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, and that stuck with me for a long time, that we have no option. Either we serve Krishna or we serve Maya. There's only two options we have, because we may think that we're not serving Krishna, but we are enjoying this material world of those people who are interested in fruitive activities, but actually they are all godas only. So they are all rendering service to the senses and service to Maya Devi. And that's what Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, that those people who render service in such a way, they render service unfavorably. But those who realize that instead of serving Maya, it's better that I serve Krishna directly, then they render service to Krishna favorably. I think that's all what I remember. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing those nice
Very
anecdotes.
nice, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing. Actually, I was going to say this that just when the way Chaitanya Prabhu started the Mangala Charan and then he sang the song, it just reminded me all of that of His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj. This is how he chants the Mangala Charan, if I remember correctly. And also, I have attended one of my first kirtans, which I really, really loved, was by Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, where he sang this song. And I think it was more or less exactly the same tune which Prabhuji sang today. So Prabhuji, thank you so much for beautifully singing Mangala Charan and then song, and also the way you recited this shloka was so melodious. And I was thinking this is Krishna's arrangement, because Chaitanya Prabhu, he is a perfect person to talk about this shloka. Not this one, not 10.10, but the other one which he just read, the Bhagavatam shloka. Because this shloka talks about rendering service, and Chaitanya Prabhu loves to render service. He goes to a place if there is service opportunity, and he'll go and render service. So that is what inspires and attracts him the most, if I remember correctly. Is it right, Prabhu?
Prabhu, you're very kind, Prabhu. You only see any little bit, any goodness that is there in somebody. Hare Krishna.
No, this is a fact. So Chaitanya Prabhu, he loves to render service, and that is what inspires him. The more he renders service, the more he is, inspired to render more. So we are very, very grateful that both Chaitanya Prabhu, Raksha Mataji are joining, and we can see how they are training Aradhya also. So she is the youngest, and she so much enjoys singing the song and reciting shlokas and all of this. So thank you for having such an amazing example amongst us. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Chaitanya Prabhu. Thank you. And thanks for coming and joining and giving us your association. So yes, Rakshita Mataji in the chat box was mentioning that it's written that in Bhagavad Gita, it's as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Himself guides pure devotees towards the path of realization due to their constant engagement in the loving service of the Lord in spontaneous infection. So she was, I think, mentioning that 10.10 talks about this, how Tesham Satyuktanam भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं नाश्यामि आत्मभावस्तु ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वताः. And then the other thing that I was also thinking about, the shloka from Bhagavad Gita, where it says that, talks about how the Mayavadis cannot, or people who cannot, from the last one. Anybody wants to tell that one, where it's very difficult, how difficult it is for those who think about God in the unmanifested form. For them, this process is so difficult to understand Krishna. So that's the 12.5. Krishna says that klesho diktras tesham avyakta shakta chetasham avyakta hi gatir dukham devo adabhir avyapite. So that is for those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. So that's goes along with these Bhagavatam shlokas, those where it says how difficult it is for those who think about Krishna as, or the Supreme Lord in the unmanifested form, to understand Him. And then another one, we think about the one who's rendering service to Krishna all the time. Krishna Himself gives the understanding as to how we can understand and enter into His, understand His pastime and His form. Hare Krishna. Any other thoughts, or we can move on?
Hare Krishna. I was thinking that in Bible also, Jesus Christ mentions, have faith in me and you will be eligible to enter the kingdom of God. So faith is the mainstay which directs people towards bhakti. And first one should have faith, then they go towards bhakti, and then they are eligible to reach God.
Yes.
Prabhuji, it reminds me of Amoglila Prabhu's recent drama which Atul Prabhuji shared, in which he says to his wife that मैं दिल में आता हूँ समझ में नहीं, and then because his wife was actually serving Lord by cooking prasadam, so she got the darshan of Krishna, and then when he came from bath and he said that you saw Krishna. So I think that is also very much related to this shloka about rendering service. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Can you explain quickly the pastime? Would you like to share quickly what happens, the story, so everybody knows?
Prabhuji, actually, I don't remember the shloka. Prabhuji
Not the
wanted
shloka,
to
just the pastime.
pastime. So one devotee, he was trying to actually write some shloka and explain something about Radha Rani. Then in that shloka, the devotee, the translation is that the explanation is that the Krishna puts Radha Rani lotus feet on his head, and then when he was about to trying to write it, and he was thinking that it's a big offense, how can I think of it, how can I write this? Then he goes back and tells his wife that I'm going to take a bath in Ganges, and I will be back, and that till the time you keep the prasadam ready. And in during that time, Krishna comes, uh, like uh, eh, like the devotee's appearance, like his body, and then he comes and his wife thinks, my husband is back from the after the bath, and then she was giving prasadam, and he was in a very joyful mood. He was dancing, and then he was then Prabhuji said this, I samajh mein aata hu, dil mein aata hu, samajh mein nahi. And then after some time, then the real devotee came, and then he said, okay, give me some prasadam. Then his wife said, I just gave you the prasadam. And then he was and then she explained that how it happened. You just asked for this, you gave me this mala, and this happened. And then he was like really happy. He was like crying with he was in ecstasy, and he said that it was Krishna, you had the darshan of Krishna, and you are so lucky. And then yeah, Prabhuji, that's the fast time where so it means that you cannot understand Krishna with this material. If you're under the influence of material modes, you can only understand Krishna when you just render unalloyed, unmotivated service to Krishna. When like his wife was cooking prasadam, but she was not having any other motive. She was just doing it to serve his husband so that he can do more bhakti. So Krishna is always pleased when you dasan like serve the devotees or be dasanudas. So that is the message I got from that drama. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please add and correct if I said anything wrong.
No, Mataji, thank you. I think you explained very well. I think I haven't seen it myself, this one, but I think Natasha narrated it to me, and it was pretty much the same thing. I think one more detail that I remember, I don't know if how much I remember well or not because I haven't seen it myself. She said that that Krishna also finishes up the shloka.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
It's not in his
Prabhuji.
handwriting, and then they look at the book,
Yes.
then they realize that
Yes,
it's Krishna who has come.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. And I think Mataji is sharing here that in the chat that it is Jaidev Goswami from Geet Govind that is pastime. Is that right, Mataji? I think.
I don't remember
Yes,
the name, Prabhuji,
yes,
but yes, if Mataji is
Yes,
saying so,
Mataji.
correct.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Yes, it was Jaidev and Padmavati while he was writing Gita.
Padmavati, yes.
Yes, Hare Krishna. And then just, from the Shraddha we were reading, and I just thought about this one we were reading today. As we said, we were reading Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter today, and we were reading this shloka this morning that Ashraddhadana Purusha Dharmasya Paratapa Parantapa Aparyaya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartamani, which means those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So, as we were talking about faith, it reminded me of this discussion from the morning. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Any other comments or thoughts about this? Or should we move on? Okay, we'll go to the next one. Okay, anyone would like to read?
Hare Krishna.
Anna. This one we've done, 38.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Abhiram Prabhu, please, you were saying something?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah, I think some problem in my end. My voice was, I'm not sure if I was audible or not. So the Mataji nicely shared the pastime and the drama. And the other point which I was remembering from Amog Leela Prabhu's talk also was generally he says that generally those who don't take to devotional service, जैसे हिंदी में he says ना माया, वो माया के पीछे जाते हैं और माया भी नहीं मिलती और कृष्णा भी नहीं मिलते, कहीं के नहीं रहते। तो यहाँ पे ना like Chaitanya Prabhu was mentioning that everybody is actually ultimately serving Krishna only, while some people are doing directly in a favorable way, others are doing unfavorably. So others are in going behind Maya. तो माया तो उनको मिली नहीं, वैसे भी नहीं मिलती, और कृष्णा भी नहीं मिले। और वही डिवोटीज जो हैं वो कृष्णा की तरफ जाते हैं, तो उनको फिर भी बहुत होप है कृष्णा को मिलने की। इनफैक्ट कृष्णा कहते हैं थोड़ा भी अगर even little advancement is much better, can save you from greatest type of fear. Krishna also says, encourages by saying, a kam sarva kamo va moksha kamo dardi, that whether you have material desires or spiritual desire or no desire or many desire or moksha desire, any desire, just practice tivrena bhakti yogena, intensely do devotional service, everything will be taken care of. Then also in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, भुक्ति मुक्ति सिद्धि कामी सकले अशांत, कृष्ण भक्त निष्काम तथैव शांत. That all the other processes, all the other people, they are always dissatisfied, or they are always looking for something, and they're not very peaceful, even though they may say shanti shanti shanti. But actually the devotee of the Lord, he is nishkam, he is not looking for any results, he's just looking for pleasing Krishna, he's attempting to do that. So therefore he is very peaceful and calm, not looking for material advancement or even merging into the Supreme, none of those things. So just few thoughts. Thank you. Nirbhay Prabhu, over to you.
Hare Krishna, thank you for that, Prabhuji. Yes. So I think we'll read one more.
Okay, before we go forward, one more thing. Tomorrow I requested His Grace Advait Pran Prabhu to come. So Prabhuji is very very good speaker. He is excellent. So don't miss tomorrow's class. And he will be speaking from the first canto of Srimad Bhagvatam, 3rd chapter. I requested him to summarize the whole chapter for us. So that way, whatever we are reading, he will explain. And then all the devotees, please try to read, and whatever questions you may have from this chapter, you can ask him. He has a very good command on this. So just something which all the devotees can take advantage of. All right. Thank you, Prabhu. Over to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for inviting Advait Pran Prabhuji. Yes, he's such a wonderful devotee. Okay. So anyone will like to read the 39th shloka?
Hare Krishna. Can I read this?
Yes, I think this is also the similar tune as before, the Karpanya Dosha tune.
Atheh dhanya bhagavante tham
Atheh dhanya bhagavante
Bhagavantam
yadva sudeve kil loknathe
Yadva
Vasudeva Lokanathi
kurvanti sarvatmakamatma bhavam nayatra bhuyah parivarta ugraha.
Hare Krishna. Somebody else would like to read the translation and purport?
Yes, probably I can read. Only by making such inquiries in this word can be successful and perfectly cognizant. For such inquiries invoke transcendental aesthetic love unto the personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of all universe and guarantee 100% immunity from the dreadful repetition of the birth and death. The inquiries of the sages headed by Saunak are herewith praised by Sud Goswami on the merit of their transcendental nature. As already concluded, only the devotee of the Lord can know him considerable extent, and no one else can know him at all. So the devotees are perfectly cognizant of all spiritual knowledge. The personality of Godhead is the last word, is absolute truth. Impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma Supersoul are included in the knowledge of personality of Godhead. So one who knows the personality of Godhead can automatically know all about him, his multipotencies and his expansion. So the devotees are congratulated as being all successful. A 100% devotee of the Lord is immune to the dreadful material miseries of repeated birth and death. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for reading, Prabhuji. Please explain to us also.
प्रभु जी तो हमें बड़ा डिफिकल्ट लग रहा है, आप ही समझाइए.
Prabhuji, please try. You can do it. You know so much. You can read line by line and explain if you want.
ठीक है प्रभु जी. I think this is the some inquiry raised by the Sonak. I mean says who is the sage. I mean and by Sud Goswami. On the merit of that, he was asking that what is the person. I mean, he was asking about the proprietor of the all the universe, who is all the proprietor of the all the universe. So he is explaining that 100% means this is, I am giving the assurance, I am giving the guarantee that 100% the supreme personality of Godhead will free from you from the repetition of birth and death. कुछ ऐसा करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं प्रभु जी, वो आप बताइए ज्यादा.
I think you are saying correctly. Like I don't have much to add. Just Krishna is saying, "Ma Sucha, don't fear. I will take care of you." Right? And then so here nobody gives 100% guarantee. Krishna gives 100% guarantee to us. And not for something little. We say, the warranty fails after 5 years, 10 years. Krishna is saying forever. Whoever, if we even make such inquiries successfully by the right people, he's saying that he will free us from the, who can give guarantee after death? Krishna is giving 100% guarantee that after death also he'll fulfill it. So this death, this life, if we have next life, if any time. So I was just amazed reading this translation that, just like in Bhagavad Gita, sometimes, there's so many promises Krishna makes that just makes me so happy that there is some hope. If Krishna is saying it, then there is hope. Otherwise, there is no hope. So this is something we should be very happy about, that we are here trying to listen and trying to discuss this, and and Krishna here is giving guarantee that if we do this properly, we can come out of 100% guarantee that we can get out of the dreadful repetition of birth and death. It's amazing. So after that says that impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma are also included in the knowledge of personality of Godhead. So it is all encompassing. Like if we understand Bhagwan, then, so if you understand, just like, that elephant example, the example that, different blind men trying to understand, they have never seen anything and they are trying to understand the form of an elephant. Somebody holds a trunk and says it's like a rope, somebody holds a foot and says it's like a pillar, and so on. So, but a person who actually can see that this is an elephant and knows about the elephant, that encompasses that there is that trunk which is like a rope, which is that those are the four legs which are like the pillars. So it encompasses all the other understandings of the blind men, that yes, there is part of it like this, part of it like this, but this is the whole. So if we understand the Bhagwan as the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna, then it encompasses the understanding. It already includes the understanding of the impersonal Brahman, and as well as of the Paramatma manifestation of the Lord. So it is the complete knowledge. So it includes those other parts of it too. So one who knows the personality of Godhead can automatically know all about him, his multipotencies, his expansions. So in the last few shlokas, we have read how who cannot understand God. Then we read who can, what is the qualification, and if we render devotional service, and then Krishna will give us the intelligence, and we will be, and that's the way that we can understand Krishna. And now it's saying that it's here it's a guarantee that if we do all this by such inquiries, uh, and only by making such inquiries in this world can one be successful and perfectly cognizant. For such inquiries invoke transcendental ecstatic love unto the personality of Godhead. And once that love is invoked, then who is the provider of all universes, because he is besides these, and he can guarantee 100% immunity from dreadful reputation of birth and death. So another example that we often talk about is about the jail, right? Would anybody like to explain that example and how it fits in here? Why can Krishna give us the 100% guarantee that we would not have this repetition of birth and death? Does anyone know that? Yeah.
Prabhuji, can you repeat your question once more?
Yeah, I was just asking Prabhuji that if how can we fit the analogy of the jail, that how we are in this jail. So I was just saying if anybody would like to explain that in analogy, that why Krishna can give us this 100% immunity, that we will be out of this repetition of birth and death. Why not? Why not Surya Dev? Chhat Puja is coming. Why not Surya Dev? Can't he give us the 100% immunity?
Yes, pretty nice question.
Okay, I think I'm not getting any responses. Maybe people are busy. I'm sure a lot of people here
I think maybe everybody is thinking. You pose such a nice question.
Prabhuji, for Surya Dev, all I can say, I mean, I don't, that, he's also rendering service what Krishna has given him. Surya Dev is also doing what Krishna told him to do. So, I think, is that a correct answer, Prabhuji? What you asked? Or the jail, you said, Prabhuji, is this the same analogy that some Krishna comes and visits and tells that, okay, this one is following the proper rules. Okay, if he's doing good and he's not doing any, bad stuff inside the jail, that, his punishment can be reduced for some years. And then, uh, is that the same analogy you're talking about, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. So just like you explained, here Krishna is saying that there is 100% immunity you will get from repetition of birth and death. And I was saying that that is not something that the demigods can give us, because the demigods are themselves under the laws of nature. They are, Krishna, we just read this a few shlokas back, that Krishna is transcendental to the laws of nature, and his form, personality, or paraphernalia, all that, everything is transcendental. So the laws of this nature, the laws of the jail, do not apply, just like you were saying, to, let's say, the prime minister who is visiting the jail. So it's not that the prime minister who's visiting the jail, has to get up at 5 o'clock or eat the food that they are eating. So the laws of the jail do not apply to the person who has made the laws. of all those laws of nature and all the laws of the jail, for that similar analogy, that they don't apply to him. He is coming and visiting, and he is the one, like jailer in this analogy is like the other demigods who are working under the um, supervision, under the guidance. So they have been given their specific jobs, and they have been given, as just like you were saying, Mataji, they have been given their specific jobs. They're doing these jobs as a service to Krishna, and but they are still inside. They can make the life inside the jail slightly easier. They have that much jurisdiction that inside the jail, okay, you will be born in a good family, you will be born in a bad family, like, or in the jail you say that you will get a class cell, or you will get the kal kotri, you will not see the light of the day for 1 week, whatever. So they have that jurisdiction. The jailer has that jurisdiction that he can make some changes inside the jail, but the jailer doesn't have the jurisdiction to say that your punishment is ended, you can go out of the jail. That only somebody, you need a president's order for that, so that the president can do. So just like that, the Krishna is the one who can give this assurance, and is giving the assurance here, that there's 100% 100% guarantee that if we do sincere inquiries, and which invokes the transcendental ecstatic love unto the personality of Godhead, if we can get to that bhava prem, the highest level, then there is guarantee, 100% guarantee, that there is no repetition from birth and death. So Krishna is giving this guarantee over here. So impersonal Brahman, so the devotees are congratulating as being all successful, because they are making these questions. So Sutta Goswami is saying, so the devotees are congratulating being all successful. A 100% devotee of the Lord is immune to the dreadful material miseries of repeated birth and death. Hare Krishna. That's all I wanted to share. Any other thoughts?
Thank you, Prabhuji. That was a nice point you mentioned about the analogy and how demigods could be the, the jailer or the constable, but only the president, can give the order, like Krishna. That was very nice. And I think the last line Prabhupada is emphasizing for all of us, that 100% devotee of the Lord is immune to the dreadful material miseries of repeated birth and death. So we are in a situation where we may be doing few things, but it may be still mixed devotional service. Somehow or the other, some things may be still there, which could have scope for improvement. And the more we can inspire ourselves to think that it's just a matter of little bit more effort. Like, for example, if we are in the middle of a snowstorm, and generally if we are in the middle of a snowstorm in Michigan, and it's very, very cold, but just imagine that you are just 1 minute walk from your house, and you don't have any other means but to walk towards your house. Either you can just cry there, lament there, ask for help there, or when you know the path, you can walk towards your house. Maybe you have limited clothing right now, and you can feel the cold. You can feel the cold weather, but it's just a matter of 1 minute. If you do that 1 minute walk, and if you do it fast, maybe it will take only half a minute, 30 seconds. So that 30 seconds of inconvenience may be there. But once you are in your home, it is very nicely air conditioned and heated, and you will get all the facilities, everything. Just a minute of few seconds. And for those few seconds, you have to focus on what will make you reach there fastest. So similarly, right now, we are in a very similar situation, that we know the path to our home. It's Krishna, Vaikuntha. The only thing we need to focus on is how to get there fastest. if we can keep that priority in our life and keep focusing on that priority, we can actually, all our other things will be taken care of. Like, for example, if somebody is walking in that snow and he thinks, "Arey, yaar, mere upar all the snow is falling on me," and he spends time cleaning himself there, or cleaning his shoes, or thinking, maybe I'm not, that comfortable walking in this way, that way, and he wastes 30 seconds there only. By that time, he would have reached home. So the point is that there are so many distractions which take our attention away. When we are in association, it becomes easier for us to think about Krishna. But generally, distractions attack us when we may not be in association, at least mentally not in association. Physically, we may be with devotees, we may be in conference call, but then we open up Facebook and we may start doing social media or different other things, or have some multitasking thing. So then we are immediately losing our opportunity, the advantage we are getting. But if we are actually fully focused in hearing, in paying attention, giving our 100%, then Krishna reciprocates by giving his 100%. So that's why Prabhupada is saying here, 100% devotee of the Lord is immune to the dreadful material miseries of repeated birth and death. So if we can give our as much as we can, come out of our comfort zone and do a little bit more. See, if it would have been easier, then anybody could have done it. फिर उसमें कोई मजा नहीं होता. But because it takes a little effort, that's why it is something which is going to give you real satisfaction. Because when you do it and you still depend on Krishna's mercy, because ultimately we cannot go back to home ourselves, but we depend on Krishna's mercy, then even that 30 seconds distance to the home can be reduced down to just a couple of seconds. That is how Krishna can do it. So we just have to focus on getting there and show our serious and sincere intensity to Krishna. Like today, Amarendra Prabhu lecture. How many of you heard Amarendra Prabhu's lecture today? He gave a lecture in Farmington Hills. Can look at on the Facebook and watch it if you missed out. And Prabhu was saying that what was he saying? That the beggar who gets the alms
Shouts the
first,
loudest, gets alms.
yeah,
The loudest.
Nirva Prabhu remembers better.
Prabhuji said that the beggar who cries the loudest gets the alms.
Beggar who cries loudest gets the alms. So how loudly and intensely are we chanting and crying for Krishna's mercy? How much loudly and intensely are we going and serving the Vaishnavas? How much loudly and intensely are we really listening to the lectures and intensely taking notes and sharing it with others? Those are actually our means by which Krishna is waiting to give us this garland of becoming a 100% devotee. But what to say about anyone else? I myself was struggling, and I'm saying it to myself to remind that how Krishna is waiting, and we can be more serious and sincere, and we are anyways putting some effort. If we do a little bit more, then Krishna reciprocates and speeds up the extent to which he is giving us the mercy. So thank you all the devotees for your association. Very grateful. Thank you, Nirbhay Prabhu, and all the devotees who shared. Nirbhay Prabhu, over to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. I think it's time though for finishing. So if devotees are okay, then we can stop for today.
Yes, Prabhuji.